What's good, everybody, man? It's your boy Brady C, man. Give me the OMFL News After Dark. And as you know, man, we are getting ready for a pre-season little bit. And, man, things are about to get crack-a-lacking. But, man, EA yet again has decided to drop the ball. I'm going to need all my mud heads to get out there and protest, because I can honestly tell you this: if we go dark for 24 to 48 hours where there's no MUT content being put out, no MUT games being played, no just nothing, Madden, for 24 to 48 hours, no activity, nothing but bad reviews, I guarantee you things will move. The only reason why they do what they do is because, quite frankly, there's no competition. So this also goes to 2K. I need you guys to make the best arcade NFL game on the market. Bring it out in July, and let's go ahead and crack some heads over there at Electronic Arts. Because, man, they taking advantage of us. Every year, they take advantage of us. The only reason why I bought a game is because of this league, because of the content that we put out. That's it. Outside of that, I don't honestly think I would buy Madden. That's just how bad it is right now. So, man, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. But, man, we'll be right back after this, man. I'm going to talk about a little bit of everything as we get ready to get started in the pre-OMFL season run. Peace. Hey. Bang! Welcome back, everybody, man. It's your boy Brady C, man. Give me the OMFL News After Dark podcast style. So I'm using this new program on my phone that allows me to give a more, how should I say it, a more podcast-esque feel to my chats. But anyway, man, we're going to move on to some ESPN NCAA action. Top 25 last night. You had Michigan, they was able to get their win 63-10. Bama was able to squeak out a victory 31-29. Number 1 beat number 11. Number 2, Georgia was able to handle South Carolina 40-13. You had Oklahoma squeak out a win over Nebraska 23-16 in what, man, was probably the interception catch of the season. But boy, with the one hand, DJ Graham with the one-hander even impressed Spencer Rattler. But then moving on, you had Oregon was able to get the win. Number 4 was able to get the dub 48-7 over Stony Brook. You had number 5 Iowa was able to go ahead and get their dub 30-7 over Kent State. Clemson, number 6 Clemson, they not looking too hot. Sound the alarm. Burr, 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 burr. They not looking too hot, bro. They 14-8 over Georgia Tech. I don't know about that. Number 7, Texas A&M was able to get the shutout over New Mexico, 34-0. You also had Cincinnati was able to get past Indiana, 38-24. Ohio State was able to beat Tulsa yesterday. Where did it go? I don't know why I refreshed you. Anyway, so Ohio State was able to get the dub over Tulsa 41-20. And then, of course, Penn State was able to squeak out a win 28-20 over Auburn. And then number 12, Notre Dame was able to beat Purdue 27-13 on NBC. And then, let's see, you had UCLA went down yesterday. 40-37 to Fresno State. Another upset was West Virginia over Virginia Tech. 27-21. So 2 top 20 teams went down yesterday. You also had BYU shocking all on Arizona State 27-17. And that was just a little run through of some of the college games that went down yesterday. Oh, and another major upset. Michigan State, Sparty, was able to get the dub over Miami 38-17. But anyway, that was just my top 25 rundown of the NCAA news this week. We'll be right back after this, man. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Discord. Hey. Hey, what's good, y'all? Hey. What's good, man? It's your boy Brady Senior, man. Give you the OMFL news after dark. In the background, my son is watching some of this FGTV. I don't know why that boy love that stuff, but that boy be going ham on some FGTV. But anyway, man, let's talk about what's going on in Discord right now, man. So we've got some announcements that popped off recently. So you got the most recent. Let's go to most recent. Most recent thing, you got the classic game submissions. You have the incentive award winners and voting award winners. You have the Madden 22 mentor sign-ups. So if you're looking for a coaching mentor, that's where you need to go. Avatar and banners for signatures, request one here. You also have an owner's list award winners and get to know each other interviews. It looks like a business season, kind of post just went up at around midnight. Man, Nate, boy, listen, you know what, man? Tell my dude, Nate, man. You know, he just went through something, a lot of people went through something down there due to Ida. But, I mean, my man still be trying to churn out content for this organization, for this, this community. And I'm not sure if everybody is on the same page. So if you're hearing this message right now, get locked in, get hyped for this little pre-testing, season or whatever we getting ready to do before the actual, the pre-patch season we're going to start, and then the post-patch season where a lot of stuff is going to carry over. So get locked in, fam, because it's time to get rolling. Because it's going to be mid-October before EA does their fucking job. So it's up to us to go ahead and get the content rolling, get the activity rolling. And hell, man, let's get this show on the road. October, kiss my ass. We gonna get started soon. So, but anyway, man, there's a lot of stuff over there under the OMFL announcements, and of course. It looks like yesterday at around 10:37, OMFL Madden 22 import norming stats. So it looks like they started to get stuff ramped up about that. So, hey, stay locked, stay tuned. We're going to wrap this bad boy up with a little bit more stuff. Right back after this. Peace. Number 3. Boy, I was ran again. Started ran again. Got to 3 minutes and 40 seconds this time. Jesus Christ. Alright, look, man. Look. It's your boy Brady C. Giving the OMFL news after dark. But I'm getting out of here because I done ran over my time. And let me tell you, man. Let me tell you, bro. We're about to start this pre-patch league. About to start it up. They're trying to lock down the stats and the sliders and whatnot where they need to be. So if you are known for your outly spoken manner about sliders and this and that, get your butt on the game and start testing the heck out of this game. Start testing. The reason why I say this is because if you're not testing and everything gets set, and then all of a sudden you can't get what you want, shame on you. You should have tested. You could have had your input posted and locked in. Now I know sometimes I send Nate some stuff and he probably like, what the hell is this boy talking about? But anyway, look. I'm gonna say it how I say it. But I can honestly tell you, face to face or over the phone, voice chatting, get you to understand what I mean. But anyway, it's real simple. This should be a user-based league. We can still have all the parameters of OMFL at the core, but this should be user interactive league. That's just my opinion. But outside of that, man, hey, get locked in. Let's get this thing going. And shame on you, EA. Shame on you, man. Like I said earlier in my statement, 48 hours, y'all. Shut it down. No activity on an EA game. Servers quiet, dead, the whole nine. I guarantee you, some heads will roll and some bodies will get active. Because if nobody's playing the product, man, I mean nobody for 48 hours, oh man, hell with pay. I'm telling you, bro. I guarantee you, shit will be fixed so fast. Scout and patch in the game, everything fixed. But anyway, man, I digress. Bye, I'm out. Brady singing, man. Love y'all. Hope you enjoyed the show. But man, get out and watch that movie clip about Madden, bro. He went off too. Peace.
This is the OMFL.
You can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Name. Here's another OMFL production.
Alright, what's up everybody? Sorry that it took so long to unmute myself again. I am not home, as you can clearly see from the background. I am at my father-in-law's, still sitting on the ground in front of his TV with temporary setup all kind of around me. But because of that, I don't have the right, my normal mics and stuff, and so things have to be unmuted in a different way. But welcome to Press Pass Live. I'm so glad that you guys are hanging out with me tonight. I think we got a good show. We have a lot to announce. We're going to dive right into it. We're going to unveil the latest Hall of Fame inductees to the OMFL Player Hall of Fame. We've already talked about the Owner Hall of Fame, where Mo was inducted this past season. Tonight we're going to talk about the Player Hall of Fame, and we're going to induct some players, 4 of them to be specific, into the OMFL Hall of Fame. We're also going to talk about the latest news and that the OMFL pre-patch CFM is starting soon, and how we're going to tie that all together so it doesn't feel like a waste of time. It still counts, it still matters, and I think it's actually going to work out really, really well. So I can't wait. Let's just go and just jump right into this. I think it's going to be a ton of fun, and yeah, I can't wait to get into it with you guys. So let me see if I can get over here real quick. Sorry about this. There's so much to talk about. A lot has happened in the last 48 hours. Of course, we got the news that the patch for the new scouting system was not going to come out in late September, which is technically, this is late September, but it's actually going to come out in the middle of October. So another 2 to 3 weeks before we get it. Hopefully they can do something to get it out a little bit sooner, because, man, it seemed like the community took a punch in the gut whenever they heard that news. And so because of that, we've had to come up with a brand new plan. But before we even get into the brand new plan, I want to talk about Hall of Fame players. I don't know why I can't say that word tonight. Hall of Fame. It gets stuck in my throat. I don't know what the deal is. I'm trying to be quiet, even though I know my mic is turned up and you guys can hear me well, but like everyone's sleeping right around me, so I'm trying to keep it down. It always makes for an interesting evening trying to record these late at night, and it's not live, so I don't get the interaction with you guys. I have to upload this a little bit later. But every Madden cycle, we look at our import players, which have become such an identity marker to the OMFL. Many years ago, we were looking for a way, I was looking for a way of how do we get more buy-in? How do we make our league feel special than another league, the TFL, the NBC, and even the Deuce, part of our community, the Deuce? How do we make the OMFL feel different? Now, the only way to do that is with Madden-generated players. And so we created this idea of import players that could go Madden cycle to Madden cycle. And if we're going to do that, if we're going to put in that time and energy and effort, if these players have elevated to the top of their game, let's start a Hall of Fame list. It's not fun to put Brady in the Hall of Fame or Drew Brees in the Hall of Fame. I mean, those are those are real life players, and there's a real life Hall of Fame. There's a disconnect there for me. But our players, our generated players, the Forbes of the world, my Saints Hall of Famer, the guys that we create, we build, and we make impact players into this league, how do we build them up and make them something special? And so our import players were the way that we did that. In every Madden cycle, we allow owners to submit stats, and we compare them to other stats, and they must get at least 3 of the 4 votes or 4 of the 5. Our board kind of fluctuates in between 4 and 5 members. And then those players are inducted into the Hall of Fame, with the players who get unanimous voting having a special icon on their Hall of Fame. So let's jump into it. There were several nominations. Let me see if I can get over here. Let's see what happens if we do this. Yeah, this might work. Let's see if we can show you the players that I'm gonna get my water, but the players that were nominated this past season. I think we had 5 or 6 players that were nominated this past season, and so there's a couple players that we can talk about. Let's see if we can go to. I think we put them in records, maybe. Yes, here we go. Madden 21 Hall of Fame submissions. So these were the submissions for the Hall of Fame this past season. It was Wesley Pickney, my defensive tackle / defensive end in the 8 seasons that he played here. And there was one season that I missed some stats, but really good player. Quarterback Donald Mccoy was a quarterback drafted by Maniac in the Carolina Panthers. One of the best quarterbacks that we've ever seen here in the OMFL. Even create this really cool player card that we tried to show off a little bit. So really, really great job. Trey takes quarterback Riley Worthington, a guy that was in this league for a very long time, but as you can see, some of his Madden 21 stats are missing, and well, he didn't have a great Madden 21, that was for sure. He was drafted by the Packers. I think he was shipped off to the Patriots, and then finally signed with the Detroit Lions, and it was not until his time with the Detroit Lions where we really seen his time begin to flourish, but always one of the top quarterbacks here. And then center Quentin Calvin from Ross and his Miami Dolphins, a guy that was in this league, I think, for 8 seasons there. And then finally, Penguins nominated Johnny Walters, a wide receiver that was here. How many seasons did we get? We got both Madden 21 and 22. I don't see his seasons. I know that they were on here. I think they're going to be on his player card. I'm just not seeing them. It's not jumping out to me. So those were your nominees for the OMFL Hall of Fame this past year. And we submitted those to the board and let guys look at them. And we were able to get some votes. I'm sorry, this internet is super slow here, as I was waiting for it to do its thing so I can get over to the Hall of Fame. There we go. Now we got it where we want it to be. So let's get over here to the Hall of Fame. I'm going to take my camera off here and just submit the Hall of Fame. So we're going to start with the first one, which is actually my player, Hall of Famer Wesley Pickney. Wesley had 8 seasons, 82 sacks. He did have 1 season of missing statistics his rookie year, where I think he picked up 8 to 12 sacks, somewhere in that range. He was a 98 overall, 390 tackles, 3 Pro Bowls, and 5 tackles for loss. Was a dominating defensive tackle, but when we moved over to Madden 21, for Madden 20, defensive tackles were a little bit dumbed down, and they weren't as impactful. So I moved him to defensive end. He was a big defensive end, but still was an impact player, and a guy through my streams that got a lot of looks. A lot of people love to watch him play ball. As a big guy who would make plays. So Wesley Pickney is your latest Saints Hall of Famer. I've been lucky and blessed that I think we actually now have 4 Hall of Famers in the OMFL. I do not vote on my own players, and so I just submit them like everybody else does, and he was a unanimous, we'll spit it out, selection. Next up is going to come from the Miami Dolphins, Mr. Quentin Calvin, a 96 overall offensive lineman, played 8 seasons for the Miami Dolphins. He only gave up 3 sacks in those 8 seasons, had 2 Pro Bowls to his resume, and had 1,873 snaps. This guy was a great dominating offensive lineman, and what I found in the last couple of Maddens is actually if you have a dominating offensive line, it seems to be pretty easy to get him into the Hall of Fame. I think Calvin is now our second offensive lineman that is here in the Hall of Fame, but the guy that's up next is actually our very first Hall of Famer in this category, and it seems to be much harder to get these guys into the Hall of Fame. Oh, my computer, it's going to die, so I apologize. Through all the setup and everything that I was doing, well, Nate forgot to plug up his computer. And so we're going to do that right now. We're going to have this awkward situation. And hopefully everything continues to flow the way I want it to flow. So, like I was saying, the next guy up is actually our first in this category. He finally breaks the mold, and he was an outstanding player for the Carolina Panthers. That's right, quarterback Donald Mccoy, only 92 overall, but played much better than that. 9 seasons in the OMFL, 244 touchdowns, 34,725 yards, a 99.6 QBR with over 2,400 completions. This guy was a stud, a unanimous selection, hands down. Deserved to be in the OMFL Hall of Fame, and it's good to see our first quarterback finally make it. We've had some good quarterbacks come through here, and even though there were others that were even nominated in this class, Mccoy just was heads and shoulders above every other Madden-generated quarterback that we've ever seen here. And as a guy who's taking over a quarterback from Madden 21, I can tell you right now that Mccoy has set the standard in the OMFL of what it means to have a Hall of Fame career. And then last but not least is our last Hall of Famer, and he comes from the Kansas City Chiefs. This should be absolutely no surprise. The Kansas City Chiefs? No, the Kansas City Chiefs were so dominant in Madden 21. He just broke all kinds of records. He set the standard of what it means to be a champion here. This cat was 99 overall. Johnny Walters played 9 seasons, 96 touchdowns, over almost 11,000 yards, 2 Pro Bowls, 562 receptions. This is being on the same team as a Saquon Barkley, as a Tyreek Hill, and all of the great players from this team, all of the weapons that he had. He was such a balanced attack. But this guy right here had a great Hall of Fame career and joins what seems to be didn't mean to do that. What seems to be one of the easier positions in the OMFL to get a player in the Hall of Fame, and that's wide receiver. He joins a group of wide receivers that have really set the standard in the OMFL, and it's going to just continue to get harder because these guys are so good. And that's it. That's your Hall of Fame list for the OMFL, and it's a great set of players. And I'm telling you right now, if you have an import player that you're taking with you, record their stats. Hint, hint, we make a video for the import, and even though we don't specifically stop on the stats, you will probably see some of their stats in there. You have to pause really quickly, but go do that right now. If not, and you didn't get them, maybe ask somebody who still has the game to go pull the stats for that player. Record them down. I already know we've got some great players coming over that had amazing careers in Madden 21. They'll continue those careers in Madden 22, and we want to see those stats. You need to have them. We're going to really, really hammer down on keeping those stats. And if you get a player from another team, I would go ask them if they have the stats, because you're going to want to see those stats. You're going to want to be able to submit those, especially as we continue to grow and we add more and more players to the Hall of Fame. All right, I want to talk about some of the changes that have happened over the last 48 hours. We made the decision. We're going to go jump. We cannot wait for another 6 weeks. We got to start playing, and so we want to make this first CFM count. And so what we've decided to do is to give you the progression on your imports, and so all the imports will keep their progression, and it will go with them into the new CFM that starts after the post patch. We're going to finish the first season though, and what we're going to do is we're going to record all of the winners and losers, and then we're going to start a brand new CFM post patch. With that brand new CFM, we're going to simulate the exact same results and get us to the final stage, just like we would have in the pre-patch CFM. You'll get all the XP from your sim season, and so it won't be exact, but hopefully you'll get something. You'll get all of your coach, but we'll all be on the same plane. You're going to get similar type of XP for both coaches and for players, because we're going to simulate the winners. And then we're going to get us to re-sign phase. That's where we're going to plug in all the imports. We're going to make sure that you get all the XP from those imports. We're going to get those players exactly where they need to be. And then we're going to start the re-sign phase, and we're going to get to enjoy the post-patch immediately with the brand new CFM. So it's going to be a little bit of a work. In my head, it's all going to work out just the way it should work out. And you guys won't notice any difference, because you can't do scouting right now anyway. And so let's just get through the first season. We'll make some pauses as we do the simulated season after the post-patch begins, so that people can get in there and do their scouting after we kind of learn how to do it. It gives me time to get back home, and I'm being told right now I might be out of internet for 2 months. So it gives me time to get my life back on track from Hurricane Ida. It gives guys like Outlaw to get his PS5 in. It gives guys like Cly time to go get his PS5. He's been fighting to get one. He's our last guy that's trying to get one. And it gives us time to learn the system. If there are any flaws, if it's broken, we're not stressing out, because they have time to patch it, update it, all that fun stuff. So it should be a really good time. There may be some little bumps, some little things that we got to figure out. It won't be perfect, but if you guys are patient with us, we can figure it out. So because of that, there's been a lot that's needed to happen over the last 48 hours. And so I don't know why, but I stayed up till 1 o'clock working and getting things done. And then I woke up at 5:50 and could not go back to sleep. So I worked all day on this, and then here doing Press Pass Live. I think we pretty much have almost everything done. There's 3 little things that we're still talking about as a board, but I want to walk you through a couple of the changes, explain to you very briefly my point of view, and then we'll put a bow on the show. It's already 30 minutes long. Thank you to Brady for OMFL News. It was, typical Brady format. I love Brady, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the OMFL News. I'm not going to replay it this time at the very end, but hopefully you can go back and watch it. All right, now let me show you some of the changes. The first thing is I just kind of cleaned up some of the forms. I wanted to kind of make things simpler kind of bundle things together, easier to find, create some forms for things I think that will stay here for a very long time. So you can see under the central hub, you have the OMFL playbooks. We'll talk about it. You have the records under your league and team media forum. You have your schedule. So any of your scheduling is going to be found in there. Any of your team news, it's all going to be found in there. And then there's a players forum. So that's your trades, that's your waiver wire, that's your protected free agent list, practice squad stealing, trade blocks, offensive lineman development. We'll talk about it. OMFL position change farm. We'll talk about it. And the abilities farm that can still be changed now by players, but I actually have it edited in the CFM where only I can make those edits. So you'll post them, and we'll go ahead and we'll make those edits and just make sure that we keep everybody on the up and up. Or what we may do is unlock them until week 4 and then lock them after week 4, just to make sure everybody is set and we're kind of holding each other accountable, which is an interesting word that some people didn't respond well to today for some reason. Incentives form, this is our gold sheet, fantasy football, pick'em, coach mentors, toilet bowl, and pro bowl. These are just like important pieces in our league that sometimes get lost in the general forum. So I'm moving everything to its own sub forum so it's super easy to find. And then there's our fair play rules and regulations. That's for our new members. That's for you guys to go see what the FPR is. And there's a sub forum in there for the owner submitted questions, because again, don't want that to get lost. And if you have an idea during the season and you don't want it to wait, you can go immediately and put that in there. And of course, our boardroom. So let's see if we can dig into some of these. We're going to go to the owner submitted questions, or rules, I should say. I'm sorry. And we're going to just dive into some of these new ones that have been posted here. I need to put a what is owner submitted rules and league suggestions. I'm trying to just make a sticky at the top of those so that everybody knows exactly what that is. So I'm already up to 2 pages. You have to excuse me for moving around so much here. This is uncomfortable to be sitting on the floor, but it's kind of the only way that I could do the show tonight. So let's let's dive into each of these, and let's actually get us over here. We're going to swap around a little bit here and there. Oh, you're actually not going to see them if I do that. Okay, well, let's go back. My bad. I thought maybe I'd be able to show them there. What is going on in the chat? What's up, Brady? It's good to see you in here, buddy. Outlaw posting all kinds of old photos of games. That's some real throwback Madden stuff right there. All right, let's talk about a couple of these things that have been discussed now for quite some time. Most of these ideas I tossed out 3 months ago whenever we played the beta, but finally it was just time to make some decisions. And so there was a simplification of the trade calculator that was made. It's from a user experience. You're not going to change all that much. It is back on Google Sheets, so it should be easier for everybody. Every team has their own tab. You'll select your tab, and it's your tab. You can do whatever you want with that tab. You can leave it with the one trade. You can clear it. You can do whatever you want. Just figure that would be easier for owners to have their own tab. You don't have to worry about it. Everything's protected. You can just do whatever you want with that tab. Especially if you have a player that you're trying to move, you can go ahead and put in their information, just keep them, and then as you find other guys, plug in whatever the offer is to see what those players are worth. We did simplify it on the back end to get to just a simplified number. So the numbers are higher, but don't worry about that. The percentage of what we're looking for is still the same. And I did some testing with 5 Saints players from Madden 21 that I knew very well, and it felt good. It felt right. Everything has been taken into account, and you're allowed 12% for a trade. Here's the one thing that Win and I are still working on, and matter of fact, he's got 3 messages waiting on me right now that I need to go look at. Win and I are kind of each other's yin and yang. We usually see things from different perspectives, and sometimes mine works and sometimes his works, and we usually find a nice balance on a good day. Sometimes we have bad days like everybody, and we probably both get caught in our feelings, but we work together really well. And in the last 48 hours, we've been able to work out some really big pieces here in the league. And so one of those that we're still working on is how to allow the trades in your CFM, all of the coaching tree under your player personnel, how can we allow for those things to take advantage in our league so that you can buy them in game and actually have the benefits in our league? And so we're working out ways right now. I'm trying to bend his elbow just a little bit and get him to allow for all of them. Both the percentage off of a trade. So if 12% is the gap right now, but you purchase those 2 traits, you might have up to 14%. So you get an extra bonus percentage in there. And for draft picks, you can also get an extra bonus of how much the gap can be whenever trading. Now, the ones that are going to be difficult to figure out is the trading up in the draft. That one's probably going to be a little bit more difficult to figure out, but me and them are going to work on that. It's probably going to happen on the back end of the calculator when you post the trade, not necessarily something in the calculator, but also on the players over 30. Can we work something in there that allows you to buy that ability for your coach? The other one that as a board that we need to figure out is just some of these contract situations here. Most of these are like the coach traits that were in the last one. I think there's even some of these. I'm just kind of looking through them right here. No, I think most of these were the ones that were in the last couple of months, like offensive lineman, free safety. There's the one about having one that doesn't fit your scheme, still be interested, or one that's not interested, still be interested. So those are all in game. And then the one about the 5% discount on players under 85, like those are all things that can be done in game that we don't have to necessarily police, except for the one about the draft picks. So there's the 5% on players older than 30, 2% trade discount, 2% trade increase of your draft picks. We got to figure that part out. Guaranteed package, that's not necessarily something that we can do, but you have to purchase that to get to the. So if you want all this other stuff unlocked, you have to do that one. One non-X factor, also not necessarily something that we can do. Maybe. I don't know when and I will work on that one, but it also unlocks the 2%. So 2% more of your value draft picks and 2% more on your trades. And then the last one, a reduced cost of trading up. That one gets a little bit more complicated, but I do have faith that we might be able to figure out something. Just know the trade calculator's out there. I got to make all new videos much later whenever I'm home and have time, probably later this like Thanksgiving and Christmas when I get a lot of time off. But we'll make new videos for everything that's out here. The old videos will still get you there, but the new videos will show you exactly how things are supposed to work. There's also a new position change form, and I actually cannot pull it up right here the way I'm doing this, but go check out the new position change form. Here's the hint. You can move any player anywhere. So from the off season, the beginning of the off season, until the week 4 of the season that we're in, you can move any player anywhere as long as that player hits the minimum of the position that you're moving him to. Well, how do you find that out? Well, you have to use the position change form. As you go into that form, you tell us what position, that player is. You tell us what position they're moving to. You answer some questions about that position and your player, and it tells you, yes, you can make this move. That move is not allowed. If that move is allowed, then it's awesome. You just go and you plug it right into the player change form that we have. You tell us that player's name. You tell us what position they are, what position they're moving to. It's approved. We double check you to make sure that it's good, and then that player can move. Now, from week 4 to the rest of that season, you are locked in those positions outside of the list that's always been there of positions that can play. Running back can play receiver 3 and below. All offensive linemen are interchangeable. All receivers are interchangeable. Well, that's already a thing, but all defensive linemen, all linebackers, all of those are like interchangeable and flippy floppy. It's just kind of the other positions that you want to do permanently. And again, we are watching, so you cannot move a player over multiple positions over multiple years. So you can't move a guy from outside linebacker to defensive end one season, the next season moving defensive end to defensive tackle. You can't move guys all the way around. It's like move them, and if it doesn't work, you can move him back, but don't be moving him all over the place. We are keeping an eye on that. So Wynn has done spectacular work. We started with a big idea, and he had a big idea, and then I made that idea even bigger, honestly, and he kind of simplified. He had a great new perspective on how to do this in a simplified way. All of these rules have been changed in FPR, so make sure that you go and you check those out as we continue to do that. One of the things I really wanted to do is open up offensive and defensive playing ability. I felt like the Dwayne's, when he kind of owned this league, he kind of set like the formula, so to speak, of how to win in this league. And so what we've seen is a lot of teams move to like 2 tight ends. And when they moved to the 2 tight ends, we just kind of got stagnant. Everybody was running sort of the same offense and the same defense. And, you can see even the influence right now in the imports, a lot of cornerbacks coming over. And, I wanted to open it up. I wanted to have some different styles of play. The Winovises of the world, he's more of a running downhill type guy. Like, let's play smash mouth football. And maybe the Dwaynes of the world want to open up the offense. When we think about Penguins, when we think about Dwayne, when we think about Bill, some of the defensive-minded coaches, why do we all have to play 3-4-3? Why can't we mix in, some nickel, some dime, and let teams build maybe a nickel defense? That's their base defense. I think that would be a really neat way to open up, refreshen some of the gameplay, and maybe get some different styles in the OMFL. Because right now I just felt like a specific style won, and if you weren't great at that style, your chances of winning were pretty low. And I'm just trying to open it up. And I know the balance is cheesy stuff, taking advantage of the AI, but I think we can find that balance between not giving AI advantages, but opening up more gameplay so that we can see a different mixture of styles. And so to do that, 30% of your runs, 3 out of 10 can be out of shotgun or 3 wide. So we're kind of spreading the field, opening up a little bit. I had to give in with the shotgun runs a little bit. Single back and pistol formations are now considered base formations. Nickel and dime formations stay in the same rule that they have to match the offense. They can have one more. So you can have one more DB per receiver. So you can play nickel defense as a base defense now. Nickel defense is considered a base defense. And if guys come out in 3 wide, you can play dime against them. You can play dollar. If guys come out 4 wide, you can play quarters, right? Like, you can open yourself up to play different styles of defense. And I'm just interested to see how this works in year 1. And we'll continue to push ourselves to open up more and more with keeping an eye on guys just kind of taking advantage of AI flaws. Our settings this year are going to be comp, all pro with adjusted sliders. I think we've got a good, I feel comfortable, very good set of sliders. We are not doing X Factors. I just felt like X Factors just got too arcadey, too overpowered, just become another thing we had to police. Playing these teams where, there's 6 X Factors on it just is too much. And then you mix in momentum, which you can't turn off, which I like actually, but it would become too arcadey with X Factors and momentum. And if you got behind early and you made one mistake, I feel like it would almost be impossible to come back from if you're playing a team high X Factor and has all the momentum. So no X Factors, and I think you still have the superstar abilities, so it still gives players an opportunity to feel special, but without all the crazy X Factor-ness. All the franchise settings will be set to off except for switch assist. So this does override your settings, but ball hawk and heat seeker, those 2 are turned off, and now you have manual control. You also are allowed to hold the catch button on offense. This is kind of to fix the issue where Madden's not really made to not be switched upon, even though they do have coach mode. It's built to switch, and unless they fix it, which I don't think they're even going to recognize it as an issue because so many people play switch leagues, will allow you to hold the catch button so that your player doesn't play dumb and not make a play on the ball. We're bringing back cap penalties. This was something I fought to remove, but it kind of got out of hand, and my conversation with the board was always, some of us take over cap hell teams, and it's almost impossible to get out of some of this cap hell, especially teams like me, just like older fat contracts and just not a lot you can do. So year 1's 20 million, year 2's 17 million, year 3 15 million, year 4 through 6 12 million, and you can earn up to 5 more million in gold. So you can have 25 in year 1, you can have 22 in year 2, 20 in year 3, 17 in year 4 through 6, 2 more million in silver, 1 more million in bronze. You have to earn that every year, and you can use those. And if you go over that, a player of our choice in your top 5 will be suspended for 8 games. And that includes Mccoy, who's made this mistake before by like 400,000, which sucks, but it happens. We've removed some of the player minimums, like fullback, that's no longer on the list. And so 3 halfbacks, 4 receivers, 4 cornerbacks, 4 safeties, 8 offensive linemen, and 2 tight ends are the OMFL minimums that you have to hit, along with the Madden minimums. We've removed the jersey rule, so you can now do whatever the game allows you to do. I don't know about you guys, but it's so much harder to talk in a whisper than it is just to talk regular. It's like killing my throat right now. We've added any loaded formations, so the twin formations where all your receivers go inside the field to caution plays. The board, some of the board was really passionate about banning these in some way, form, or fashion, or percentage. It just becomes another thing to police, and so we're adding them with closed and bunched formations. Just don't abuse them. Use them when appropriate, but just don't abuse them, especially on third down and in the red zone. We talked about the catch button already. I think we're going to get off to page 2 now. Oh, we've removed the the banning of using defensive tackles. So you may now use defensive tackles, but we're still talking. One of the 3 things that the board has to decide on still is we're still discussing if there needs to be a cooldown period. More to come on that, but as of right now, you can use defensive tackles. And that's going to bring us to our second page of stuff, and we can wrap up the show. I feel like I'm out of breath here. Playbooks now have to be claimed, and so there is a playbook forum, and so every season there'll be a thread, and you have to claim your playbooks. If you use a custom playbook like I do, even as the show is uploading, I uploaded both of my playbooks. You have to upload those custom playbooks. If you use a team playbook, you have to claim it. You have to be stuck with that playbook when we start the season until your bye week, and on your bye week you can make any changes. Just trying to create more strategy, more realism, and also trying to create a place where you can now scout somebody. Not everybody has time to watch hours and hours of film, but you can take a few minutes to go download someone's playbook and just look through their plays, see what's out there, see if you see some studying of some formations that stick out to you. And I think it holds us accountable. There's now no phantom custom playbook that you don't know what's in there. You now can go download my playbook and hold me accountable to my playbook, and I can do the same to every owner here. So you must claim them. When you upload them, just know that you cannot spell out OMFL. Don't know why. It says that it's profane, so I replaced the O with the 0 in everything that we're doing, even our CFM, and that will should allow you the opportunity to upload your stuff. But I think there's nothing wrong with this. We're holding each other accountable. Maniac, I know that you had a problem with it. I thought it was a little weird. It's a weird thing to have a problem with, but you have a right to not like it, and do whatever you want to do. You have that right, and we all don't have to agree. But I'm doing this for a reason. I don't understand. I think the reason is pretty simple, and I think we would all want that. We all want transparency, and we all want accountability and a way to hold each other accountable. Feedback has changed. Instead of 1 through 5 rating, it's now 1 to 3. I just felt like a lot of the feedback gets caught up in the minutia of I don't like you, you don't like me, we're rivals, I don't like how you played, I don't like what you did. It wasn't against FPR, but I felt like it was cheesy, so I'm giving you a 4. And it just felt like it's kind of useless, and I didn't like the vibe of it. So 1 through 3. 1 means, hey, this is major breaks. We need to have FPR court. 2 means there were 1 or 2 mistakes and we're going to go to FPR court and talk about it. Or 3, it was all within FPR and I'm moving on with my life. And that's what I hope a lot more people do this Madden. Hopefully FPR court works the way that we want it to work. We've created a brand new offensive lineman progression and regression system for development. Not abilities or attributes, just for development right now. You cannot get progression or regression for offensive linemen in development. And some of you have great teams and you build great offensive linemen. And we've been talking about this now for 2 Maddens, and Wynn helped me really put a lot of ideas together into a simple calculator that either board or a volunteer will help with. Anyone who volunteers here, by the way, and helps with either any of the games that we do, Gold Sheet, fantasy football, pick'em. If you help our guy Lost, who's going to be taking that stuff over, you get automatic 50 points towards the incentive plan. And so if you help with something like this, I'll do the same thing, 50 points towards the incentive plan. You do 2 of those, you've already got, that would put you silver automatically, and you'd be just a couple points away from gold. So anyway, we're going to plug in all offensive linemen that fit the criteria into this calculator. Basically is what it is, and it will tell us if you get a regression or if you get a progression in development. Basically, any player over 30 cannot be progressed. They can only regress. Any player that's normal and over 30, we won't even enter you into the calculator. Any player that's normal development that doesn't hit a minimum of 600 snaps, you too won't earn enough points to get progressed, and so you will not be put into the calculator. So it's any player under 30, over 600 snaps, you'll be put into the calculator, and it will tell us if you get to jump from normal to star to superstar, superstar to X Factor. Even though there is a little bit of debate, does X Factor actually matter? I think you do get more XP for X Factor, but I could be wrong about that. I don't have this stuff memorized. And then if you're a player who's aging or didn't have a good system, you actually could go down a development. You can only go down and up 1 development per season. So 1 bad season will not ruin your player. But I'm really appreciate Wynn for helping me figure this out. And he and I work together to get the formulas just right. Position changes we talked about, and so those are updated in the playbook with the form that you need and the things that are allowed in system. The trades are updated, so everything that you need to know about the trades are there. 12%, like I said, is what you're allowed to have, and I think that's it. I think that's all of them. I think that's all of the changes that we've been talking about. I'm ready to get started, man. It has been way too long. I'm ready to go live again, even though I got to tell you that may be quite a bit longer. I don't really know. There's not great updates coming from our cable system, AT&T, which is the other provider of internet in our city. They have either DSL, which is much slower than what I have in cable, or they have fiber. Well, guess what? Fiber is not in my city or not on my neighborhood. It's like 3 streets away. And they say it may take up to 2 years before they actually get in my neighborhood. So fiber is not an option right now. Cable is the only option that I have. And they're saying that Hurricane Ida destroyed their entire system. They have to rewire the entire city, and it may take up to 2 months. I hope not, because I don't want to lose 2 seasons or whatever that would be of play. I need my reset time, you know what I mean? Like all of us, I need my reset time, and I want to be playing with you guys. So we'll keep working on that. I'm going to keep working on that, see if I can get it figured out. If I can figure out if they can get cell phones back at least to full capacity. I may go hotspot route, which I've been doing here. It's not good enough to stream, but it is good enough to play my games. And then I could do offline Press Pass lives and offline recordings of my stream and just upload them when they're done, or a recording of my games. So just keep thinking about me and our community. Our plan right now, we just found out that you can now use water, and the waste management system is all back online as of today. And so you flush toilets and take baths, that kind of like normal life stuff. And so we probably will go home on Friday. and start trying to figure out how to live life at home without internet, cable, and just like the basic life utilities, electricity, water, and sewage. So it's going to be interesting, but I am ready to go home. If you can imagine, this is officially today is day 22. It hit 21 days ago. When I left that day, or that Saturday before the storm, I did not think that it would be a month before I got back in my house. That's what it's going to be. It'll be a month before we get back home, and maybe up another month or two before we get internet. We'll see. Hopefully it happens much sooner, and I figure out some way to continue to do what I'm doing, because I don't want to retire. It's kind of been my life work. So I hope that these changes excite you. I hope that you guys start plugging back in, man. It seems like so many of us are not plugged in, and it feels like maybe today, this week, felt like we got some momentum over the last 48 hours. But come plug in with us, man. It is a fun game. It's not flawless, it's not perfect, but man, it gives us so many new opportunities. I hope that you come plug in with us. I hope you come play with us, and I hope we don't have to replace any owners. But life is crazy right now. The world is crazy right now. We need Jesus more than ever. People are going through physical, emotional, spiritual rough patches. It's a crazy world to be living in today, and I'm ready to kind of get back to my routine, and hopefully I can continue to be a hope, a light, a fun place for you to unplug and de-stress. So many of you are carrying so many heavy things, and I want to help, and I want to create a place where you feel like, yeah, this is my place to unplug. So come hang out with us, come plug in. I love you. God loves you. This is a great community of great humans, and thank you to everybody who's helping make things happen right now. D-Money helped with a couple of the new attributes we had to refigure up. Cly, thank you so much for doing the import videos for me. D-Money's offered to help with imports. The board's going to be helping create imports. I'll be probably making imports this week. Thank you to Winovus, who's done so much behind the scenes work. He and I have kind of had some great give and take, and I think really have settled on some great things. And just thanks for Cly and Rob, who also just kind of help give input and give thoughts and perspectives on some of the new stuff that we're creating. And thank you guys for giving us a chance and giving us an opportunity to try on some new things. Never trying to be the best, but I'm trying to be a place that you enjoy, that you love, and that you're totally engaged in and totally invested in. And I hope we can continue to be that place for you. So I love you guys. I hope that you have a blessed rest of your week. Know that I am personally pray for this community and the people represented here. And I can't wait to go meet you on the field, even though I don't know that I'll get to play the first season, which Cly, Outlaw, and myself, that's going to be some weird stuff we got to figure out. Just be patient with us, team. We're figuring it out, and we got to do what we got to do. And I'll make sure that we try to do it the right way, hopefully. So, guys, be blessed. I love you. And even though I went to the wrong thing just now, I can't wait to just kind of be back with everybody and start enjoying what we're doing. Oh, and thanks for Brady. Brady came and hung out and listened to me ramble and here by myself, which has got to be boring when you can't see anything, but it'll make sense when he can see it all. Thanks, Brady, for the OMFL news, man. I love listening to that stuff, and appreciate you, even though I think Mr. Brady finally tapped out. He didn't want to hear me anymore. All right, guys, I love you. Have a really awesome rest of your week, and until next time, we'll see you, I think. Where's my ending screen? Why do I never know? I never know where my ending screen is. I don't understand what I'm doing incorrectly here, friends. I think I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. So you guys are going to sit here and stare at me for a couple of weird seconds here, because as much as I love the Stream Deck with my setup, it is el slow. It is, it's like the slowest thing in the whole wide world. And then because Nate is totally out of my routine and out of like doing all of this, I forgot all my buttons. I forgot what buttons do what, but here we go. I think this is going to do the trick. I love you. We'll see you later this week. Okay, guys? Peace. Maybe.